The February release of CPI, Consumer Price Index, of course, is going to be huge. The month-over-month number, as expected, up 0.8%. The high water mark here was actually up 0.9. So we have a bit of a reprieve there. If you strip out the all-important food and energy, exactly as expected, up 0.5. That also has had a high water mark of up 0.9. That was all the way back in April of last year. Now we get to the money numbers. Year over year, as expected, it's 7.9% for year-over-year inflation, following 7.5 that could get revised. 7.9, we go to the Wayback Machine to find a higher level of inflation. You're looking at 8.4% in June of 82 as your comp, and on the year-over-year ex-food and energy, known as core, exactly as expected, up 6.4%. Of course, 6% in the rearview mirror. That still may get revised. 6.4%, well, that comps to the same as the 6%. 1982, August of 82, when it was 7.1%. Now, on initial jobless claims, we're expecting a number right around 217,000. Well, 227,000 is the number from a slightly revised 216,000, so it's up 11,000. Remember, the post-COVID low going all the way back into those wild 60s was 188,000. That was back in December, I believe, the first week in December. And finally, continuing claims, always a week in arrears. This is February 26. 1,494,000, and that sequentially follows the slightly revised 1,469,000. The low water mark there was a couple weeks ago at 1,474,000. So these are good numbers. Maybe continuing claims isn't as good, or initial claims, but they're still very good numbers. The big news obviously continues to be the push and pull of geopolitics into a Treasury market, much more, at least price-wise and statistically, concerned with what's going to happen on March 16th, the upcoming beginning of a tightening cycle, already telegraphed to supposedly be 1/4 of a point. And, of course, this inflation news is going to be tough for the administration. Nothing, Joe, nothing has been more politicized than inflation. Just let's hearken back to all the things we've been through. First, it was transitory. Then, inflation is good. Then we went to corporate greed. Now we're at Putin. Listen, it's probably all the above, but no matter how you slice it, it's all about commodities for the most part, and king commodity is energy, and most people in the United States are reminded of that about, what, every 3 to 4 days when they go fill up their tanks. Back to you.
It is becoming very apparent to all of us, I think, at this point. It's out there. It's out there, Rick. Steve Leisman joins us now with more. Hey, Steve.
Joe, I want to give you a headline here. The Bank for International Settlements, this is the central bank for central banks, has suspended Russia right now. You may not remember, but a couple weeks ago, I did point out that the BIS was a potential way around Russian, U.S. sanctions and Western sanctions against Russia. It had something like $25 billion in reserves in there. After I reported that, the BIS clarified that it would not be a way to circumvent the sanctions. Now it has suspended Russia from all services, including settlement and meetings and other activities for Russia. You have to be very bad to get kicked out of the BIS because they tolerate an awful lot, try to be neutral in all situations. I think they only used to kick out people who are under UN sanctions, so that's a big deal. On the inflation front, no good news. Food up 1%, likely to go higher. I am still struck by the conversation I had with the economics minister of Ukraine earlier this week, where he told me that this is the planting season in Ukraine, and if it's not planted now, it's not coming, and that a lot of the land that they farm there is in places where there's military activity. Food away from home a little bit better, 0.4. Apparel up strong. Gas up 6.6% now. Estimates are that it goes up 20% in the next month. Apparel up 0.7%. Also, with this whole idea of prices are rising, we were not in a good place going into this inflation-wise. We will be in a worse place, at least in the months ahead, Joe.